What up, y'all? So, this one's actually gonna be a little bit unorthodox for me, a little, because I actually played this game off of a recording, and during the process, this game actually turned into a very dominating match that realistically deserved to get recorded. So, I'm actually gonna be doing a watch replay. We'll take the fog of war off so you can kind of take a look at what our opponents are doing. But off the start off, I am playing as blue in this go round. And as normal, I kind of start off with one cheeky unit to see if I can win the lane with maybe a red going for a hero, but he chose to get grunt. So he won the lane on this start off. But for me, my intent was I was going for a early hero, and in my mind, starting the game, I was thinking of going 3 gold mines. And even though it's kind of a spoiler, there will be a point where you actually see me with 3 gold mines. But outright, I'm about to get my hero right now, so I got that loading. Red is still only at 1 grunt.
Our allies' town is under siege.
And then Teal is just going ghouls to start off. Purple went for 1 grunt and he's going a hero. And then orange, like right off the start, got a hero and grunt. And I can mind you at the start, orange does a very good job of maintaining for purple. And you guys will see why. But as you can see, everyone except for red has pretty much gone for either a hero or units. So he's got the crippler. I chose to go panda. I had the options of panda, death knight, and torrent chieftain. But given that I had seen a grunt, and I've quite frankly been getting more prone to enjoy playing panda because I love his miss and I like his fire, that I decided to pick panda. And in hindsight, prior to me ever knowing, panda ended up actually being probably the best pick I could have made out of the 3 choices for this game specifically. The only other one that could have been just as good would have been TC. But had I have gone Death Knight, this game would have not turned out the way it did. But as you can see, red teched up and chose to go to tier 2, which had me confused. I had a feeling he went to tier 2, which is why I chose to get the 2nd gold mine. And then you're gonna see I'm gonna go up to tier 2 right after this wave, or even a little before if I'm not mistaken. But I went a few ghouls just in case if he had like a hit. I wasn't sure what he was doing full on. My assumption was he was gonna go a grunt and then he was going like a hero, or he teched up. But in this case, he actually teched up and went a hero. So so in the old deal is his wave only had 3. Only had 3 grunts. So when I saw the 3 grunts, I believe that's when I impulsively decided I needed to go to tier 2 just in case he was teching up to something else. So I should be, I believe, doing it right now once it gets to 250. Yep, there you go. And then like how I easily won that with the panda and that. So at the moment I was like, well, I'm doing pretty good situationally. And then he got Dreadlord. Teal and then Teal also did pretty good at this game. Where naturally he has a Demon Hunter. Demon Hunters are still always known for being stupidly strong. Yellow still has my favorite hero, even though Panda might be giving him a run for his money. Quite literally. But overall, as you can see, Purple was having a very hard time at the beginning of the game. And then he chose to go Necro. So he, for the first little bit, seemed very, very weak. But here's where Orange was able to keep covering. The fact that Orange was able to help cover Purple's lane while also being able to fight Yellow's lane, because Yellow just kind of went for a lot of headhunters, which aren't the strongest against grunts and priests. So Orange's healing really played a huge part early on. Now here's what threw me off, but actually made me very happy, because I had units to cover this very easily. Now outright you look at it, he's got the Necros in that, but because he's choosing to do the Unholy Aura so early, it was allowing my Breath of Fire to do huge damage on him. So he actually gave me very easy control early on with her. But as you can also see, I have Fairy Dragons. So almost immediately after seeing the Necros, I started building some fairies. And then also I have Spirit Walkers as well. That's the only downside is I can't actually show you the units I had. The one unit that I had that I never actually built was Frostworms. I actually chose to just kind of skip them for other units instead, because I didn't really feel like I needed them. But early on, Purple kind of was able to, after a wave or two, with me and Orange being able to help, his Necro started being able to do a bit of damage. He still was kind of weak at this point, and I believe he went 3. You can see I went my 3rd gold mine. I got kind of cocky at that point. As soon as I saw Red go Necros, I was like, oh yeah, I got this guy dead to rights. So I went 3 gold mines and kind of got greedy. I never went for the 4th, even though it crossed my mind. But as you can see on this wave right here, I don't even have my Spirit Walkers yet, but just my 2 fairies. You'll see that I kind of roll up here and just pretty much just kind of still destroy Red's army. And the biggest reason why is because he was using his Unholy Frenzy. And then my headhunters were just sniping things down. And at this moment in time, they actually had no counter to my Fairy Dragons. So they were able to cherry pick and beat up even on Till's units a little bit right here. Now, granted, Till's little peekaboo act kind of was annoying for a while, because none of us had gotten a gem of sight really very early. So Till kind of was pushing back on Purple a little bit, because Purple still at this point in time was weak, because he decided to copy me a little bit, go the 3 gold mines. And then Orange still remained at 1 gold mine for a while, but you'll see it didn't stay that way. But ultimately, even as you can see, Orange's strength was really kind of the sustainability that we needed for Purple to be kind of covered okay. And then in terms for Red had no chance against me. As you can see, I now had the Spirit Walkers and 5 or 6, that was 5 Fairy Dragons at this point, and Disenchant. So it ultimately just flat out made it to where at that point on, Red's Necros and everything was just absolutely useless against me. And at that 10-minute mark, we got the tower. But you can see the combo I did with my panda was I went the fire breath and the miss pretty much as a combo. And you'll see, even though some people might get triggered by what I chose to use on Panda, because I won't say it was the greatest items for him per se, because I could have gone Pendant of Mana on him instead of the item I chose to get. But I figured at the point, the cost effectiveness on it, and I wanted to give a mana plus some strength. I didn't want him to go full strength only. I wanted to kind of have him be a blend. But in hindsight, thinking about it, had I had gone 2 pendants instead of 2 pendants and then 2 strengths, I would have had about the same amount of impact. And well, you'll see. You guys will see when I get to the point of getting unit upgrades. But as you can see, we're pretty much having them on a full push. And I think at this point in time, purple did go 4 gold mines as well. So, and then orange went his too. So realistically, we should be getting pushed back because purple is not that strong right now. But because yellow or orange was able to really beat up on purple's enemy, and I pretty much had red practically dead to rights at this point in time. He had like almost no option to go against me, and then my fairy dragons were raining havoc, just annihilating their casters pretty much throughout the whole game. And then I think at this point here soon, I go and start upgrading units as well. But yeah, I chose to get another line of headhunters. I think I put one here, and then I believe I put one here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 3. I know I'd put another one here, just to cause some more DPS in the back. I didn't even really go anything for frontline attack for a good while. My panda was just a beast, and orange was really controlling his lane too. So between me and orange, we were just dominating almost everyone. But as you can see, yellow's kind of spread. And then Teal went 2 hero items to start off his hero bit. But he just kind of stopped when he was getting absolutely wrecked. And then I see the air right here, which I think, and then I see the air on Teal, which I believe is when I impulsively chose to sell my ghouls. I choose to sell my ghouls at some point here pretty soon, and go for a different unit. But as you can see, this peekaboo stuff is kind of what screws me up a little bit, because I wasn't having anything to kill him. But I'm still doing more than enough damage to Teal's army and Red's army to where purple had it pretty simple to just hold the line in this game. All he had to do was just beat up on yellow just enough for red to, or for orange just to come in and clean house, and then he goes and hits red, and then it just kind of kept going into a spiral on it. But there you go. This is where I sold my ghouls. And got 3 tanks. Immediately got the upgrade for the steam tanks mortars, because the one thing I didn't want to do was allow them to get some air superiority on me. But as you'll even see, the breath of fire still, quite frankly, did a lot of work even against the air, because it does damage to air. I think that's where Panda is starting to get closer to more my favorite, because his Breath of Fire with the miss, quite frankly, is incredibly good. And if you manage to get Banshees to stack with them, it's just a mist frenzy. You get Banshees and heal, you're pretty much in complete control. But as you can see, my fairies are still alive because they didn't get targeted heavily. And my units practically took out all of Red's units and all of Teal's units before Purple even ever got to me. I still have a whole wall of headhunters. But as you can see, we're kind of in a point where we're in a huge control. But I'm at 3 gold mines, Purple's still at 4. Orange ends up eventually going to 3, but I don't know exactly when he does. But even you can see Orange has tanks that he's starting to build too. Purple went 4 gold mines and like literally this is all he still has. But he was able to piggyback off of me and Orange really well. But like right here, it actually gets the look like they might actually be able to push back a little bit because Yellow is still alive, they got healing. So realistically, they should be able to push us back to our tower. Because I'm somewhat strong, but I'm not that strong, you would think. But between my Panda and what he does, my tanks clearing the air, and my fairies, I still was able to clean house of the 2 armies that were there and still come over here and do some damage. Pretty much annihilating almost all of his sorceresses right here. To where, at this point, with the Panda being level 6, he was pretty much at this point dominating. And I thought about putting hero items onto him at this point, but if I'm not mistaken, I ended up deciding to get a second hero here after a wave or 2, if I'm not mistaken. Because I want to say I did upgrades for on my units, so I should be, I think, 1-1 right now, or 1-2, or 2-1. It's the only other downside, it doesn't show me what the upgrades I'm going. But my assumption is I believe I went unit upgrades, right? No, yeah, I went 2-2. I went 2-2 on my upgrades. Now I would be saving for a hero because of my Panda being level 6. And Red decided to go Frostworm. The Frostworm actually had me a tiny bit concerned because it does a lot more damage. But overall, when it came down to Red, I was already pretty much at this point felt like I can absolutely dominate and control Red. As long as I remained the one hitting Red, he had no chance. But they also did, with them going so many more extra air units, I was also in my mind thinking I needed to go tanks. But there you go, now I'm getting my hero. And once I get this next hero, that's when things start to shift in our favor even more. Because the next hero blended very well with Panda. And you'll see in a minute. I had the choices between Keeper of the Grove. I forgot who the third hero was. But I had Lich King. And as soon as I saw Lich, I was like, oh my god, I have to get Lich. Because his Frost Nova plus his fire. And I knew if I got Lich King level 5, they were gonna just get melted between the fire and the Nova. And ultimately, that did start to happen. Because he came out, and I almost want to say my Lich went from level 1 to I think level 3 on this wave overall. But even then, you can see my fairy dragons just keep coming on in, doing their duty, just annihilating everything on the ground before I'm even doing novas or anything. But that's the one thing that is nice with fire too, is it hits air. So between his fires just going through and then my tanks just hitting his air and my panda being on the ground, it was just absolutely destroying units. And the crazy thing is demon hunters usually, if there's anything you guys see me typically start cringing and raging a little bit toward about kind of being broken, is Demon Hunter. And kills Demon Hunter, other than a time or two, it really never popped off. Yeah, there you go, level 3 Lich on the first summon. And then a benefit is he dies right before my wave summons again. Then as you guys can see, I said screw it. I went after a third hero. And I don't remember the other two. I think they were like front units. I just was like, you know what? Priestess actually fits perfect because a lot of everything I have right now is range. And the wild part is it doesn't show it on here. Or actually no, it's because I didn't go. Yeah, I did. That's interesting. I thought it, when I was playing, it showed that he actually got the buff for True Shot, which threw me off at first, but I guess he didn't get it. He only gets it when he goes to his level 6 form. But ultimately, with me going Priestess, I was like, it'll just help me with my DPS even more for everything I got. And I want to say at this point in time, I believe I buy a gem on my Priestess at some point here pretty soon. But yeah, there is going to be a point going, I think after I put this tank up here, I start buying I start to get some hero items to go with my heroes. So it should, like, I would start getting in here in about 2 minutes, I believe. But even then, as you can see, we're still really in control. Orange is 2-0, so he hasn't done a hell of a lot of unit upgrades yet. At this point, I'm 3-3. I'm pretty much all the way maxed out on hero items. Red is only 1-1. So pretty much in terms of the unit upgrades, we're practically all the way fully upgraded and could just get into buying different things. We could easily go for units, we can easily go for hero items. Pretty much anything was at our disposal at this point. I could have gone for gold mines, but I chose not to. I just didn't feel like it was really worth being that greedy. I think at this point, Orange also has 3 gold mines. So as you can see, we never really lost the middle lane. Purple has 4 gold mines, I have 3, Orange has 3. They only have 2, and then Red has 3. So realistically, pretty much almost this entire fight, they were losing massive amounts of gold against us after a certain point. So I guess after a certain point, we just were able to overwhelm them between unit strength, hero power, and everything else. But here's where I start buying upgrades for my units. I was able to get 3 of the robes on my Lich. But ultimately I was like, I want my Lich to be DPS in the back and be able to just go Frost Nova however often as he wishes. Because they were just highly susceptible to AoE. So that's where I chose to do, and I think I got Gem, yes. I got Gem on the, whatchamacallit, Priestess. So that way Till couldn't keep playing the invisible act on me. But ultimately, like how you can see, I haven't leveled up my heroes. I was still buying items for my heroes. I was waiting to buy the Orb of Corruption on my Lich at the time. So I actually kind of was just hesitated on getting anything. So with that Gem of True Seeing on my Priestess, Till wasn't able to maximize doing much of any damage to me. And he chose to go with extra hero items to try to get his Demon Hunter alive to stay longer. And it just didn't pan out for him. He just kind of was controlled at that point. But as you can see, my Lich is about to be level 5. And I buy one more robe on him, if I'm not mistaken. At this point, yeah. He doesn't actually die here, though. So I won't have the Lich on the next wave or the Priestess on the next wave. It's just my good old happy-go-lucky panda. But now here's where I start to consider items for my panda. So I was debating on which ones to go, which ones to get. But I wanted to get an orb on him first because of the air. I didn't want him, I wanted to make sure he wasn't susceptible to air as well. But ultimately, after looking at it, looking at the costs, what I ended up deciding to go with was, it was kind of like that little gold medal looking thing, which will pop up here pretty soon. There you go, the Medallion of Courage. So, in hindsight, I probably could have actually just gone 2 Pendants of Mana instead of this for the Intelligence, and then I could have gone 2 Strengths. Which the reason why I chose not to was I was going for more of a cost-effective build. But realistically, I could have spent the extra money with how the game pushed on a little longer than I thought it would. I could have gone 2 of the pendants, which would have been $225, I believe. If it's still the same cost, I forgot exactly. And then I could have gone 2 strengths, which would have been plus 20 damage, which ultimately would have been more damage than, more mana. So I understand that actually I kind of made a mistake in the card, but I was trying to do something different as well. So am I gonna say it was the most effective build? No. But ultimately, with how this setup went, it was actually still very, very good. And you'll see right here where pretty much at this point my army, I didn't buy any more units during this entire time. I was buying all of my hero upgrades. And then I also went 2 rings on it. So that's what I could have done, was instead of these 3, I could have done like a pendant and 2 strengths, or I could have done a strength and 2 pendants, and then I was gonna go 2 rings for just an armor bonus to make him have a little even longer survivability. But as you can see, for the most part, the build I went was very much more of a cost-effective style, because this was 200, 200, 200, and these both were 225 and 300. So it made it very, it made it a viable build at a cheap cost. And then my Lich King got to a point where he was just stupid, because he was at some points having plus 69 damage. So he was just doing, what, about 100 to 120 damage on each attack. So you had a Panda with AoE, just AoE, pretty much just nuking everything down. And then you had Lich being able to assault everything down. Then I threw Claws of Attack on my Priestess, just to give her more DPS, and with her ability of the Flame Strike, it goes up in intervals of 15, so it's like 15, 30, 45, plus you add on her damage along with it. My two back heroes practically were both able to do damn near 100 damage on each attack, and my Panda was up front just wrecking havoc. So you can see, literally, they have all of this stuff, but I'm able to just completely clean all of Kill's army just outright. So it was just really massive control. Yellow did a decent job of getting an army built up. Till did a good job. Red, on the other hand, he kind of fell into the trap of, like, he was trying to counteract me the entire time, and against me he was practically just outrolled. He had no chance against me for rolls, and that was with the fact that I didn't even choose to go Frost Worms. I didn't choose to go Frost Worms at all. I didn't choose to go air. He said GG, and I actually said GG back, because I did not think that they were gonna live this, because that castle was damn near gone. But they had a setup to where they were able to get a slight pushback, and the majority of the reason why was because my Lich was dead. My Lich being dead actually was what helped him out the most for being able to push me back, because I lost some nuking power here. Not enough for them to really, not enough for him to do anything. But once I got my Starfall too, even though I wasn't able to kill everything, I did a massive amount of damage with what little I had onto Till. So Purple was able to just come in, clean up, and keep going. But at this point in time, I also had chosen to get ready to start putting knights back here. So I was just putting knights along the back line just for more of a melee front line, because my Lich and Priest were already doing a lot of damage. And the other aspect being, on my Lich, I didn't actually go Death and Decay on him at the start. I chose to max out his armor bonus, I maxed out his Nova, and then I got his stat increase, because I wanted to practically make my Lich really tough. Like, if you see, he's plus 73 damage, so he's easily doing around, what, 110 to 120 damage. And then I also got my priestess with 4 of the claws. So that was plus 45 damage. And my arrows were plus 2 at the time, which was like an additional 30. So her attacks were doing damn near 110 to 120 damage as well. But I got to a point now with my Lich always living, it was just practically over. And then on top of it, you add on the Panda for the AoE. It made it a very, very hard combo for them to counteract. Like that last nuke you just saw, they lost a lot of units there. And that's with yellow being 3/3 upgrades. And I guess red was trying to buy like some unit items or hero items as a last desperate attempt. But as you can see, it was a dominating performance. And then I'm gonna pause it. The reason why, when you look at it, yellow did very good, and then for me, I was damn near 10,000 more damage than any of my teammates, 720 kills. Like, it was just a dominant performance for my Panda and Lich. So hope y'all enjoyed, and I know it's different actually having the view all up and doing replays like that. If you guys like this style some, let me know, and maybe if I have some other good games that I did offline, maybe I'll do some more recordings in this direction where I can kind of do a play-by-play versus a live style. But thank y'all for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Until then, have a good day. Later.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small, way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small, way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls. I feel like life is on hold, perception stuck in a vault. I know that time can heal all, but how much time till we fall? It's awfully chilly outside when there's no shelter to hide. When everything is a lie, you'll find that out in some time. But when the things on your mind are all considered a crime, communication aside, we'll all just fight till we die. Is this an argument or just the start of it? Either way, I don't wanna be a part of it. Can I just get some space? I don't have the heart for this. I can't be picking up the pieces, fixing scars from this. Is this an argument or just the start of it? I wanna drive away so I can be so far from it. I wanna find a place where no one breaks their promises, or maybe drown myself in something that is bottomless. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small, way back before we blew it all.